My name is Max Clark, and I'm from Franklin, Indiana.
The last few years, you've had a lot of attention on you, on and off the field. What has that experience been like, and how has it been like managing all the different stories, photo shoots, events, everything you've been asked to be a part of?
Obviously, been on the circuit for 3 to 4 years now, big time, with all the media, all the attention, and now we're like finally kind of getting into, or we were finally getting into the areas where All-American games, area code, East Coast Pro, different like individual events like PBR State, All-State, all this stuff. So luckily enough for me, I had already committed freshman year. So by the time like the crazy media presence hit, I got to the point where I could kind of pick and choose what sounded fun to me, while also I could pick and choose what was most necessary to make it where I would want to go. So whether that was certain draft events or certain, All-American games because they were fun, like I kind of got to pick and choose here and there, which was cool, I felt like I had a lot of options, but I also never felt overwhelmed because I knew that I didn't really have to do all of them. And it was also nice because like I was surrounded by a lot of guys in the same position, so all the like fellow top guys that were getting invited to these things also weren't doing all of them. They were picking and choosing, kind of figuring out what they wanted to do, what made the most sense and fit their schedule, because you never want to like overstack or play 3 weeks in a row on the road. You want to like break it up to where you're your best at every event. So for me, at the end of the day, it also became really easy because I had an advisor by now. So he's been through this 100 times with past clients and things like that. So he actually had like a 3-year plan when I first got with him, and it basically said, here's what we're gonna have the options to do. Here's why you should do each event, and then I got to like choose basically and decide like, hey, this is what would be best for me in my future. This would be cool. This would be fun. Things like that. So from like an event standpoint, it actually wasn't too bad, and like I never really felt run down or too much, unless it was just like a 2-week-long tournament and you're just finally ready to go home. So it was a lot of fun, like playing on the circuit each and every year with 40 to 50 guys who are all probably going to play professional baseball one day, or definitely going to play professional baseball one day, I should say. So like that part of it's awesome, and traveling around the world playing baseball, like I'm super blessed for that. Not too many kids can kind of just go out 3 summers in a row and play in different states every single weekend. So that was awesome, and I really enjoyed that. And then from like a social media, podcast media standpoint, that was one thing where I just kind of got to pick and choose. Like if like Dan and Leo from D-Sarm, like they sounded really fun to do and they were around my age, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I've seen a lot of their stuff. Same thing with you guys. Like I've been wearing baseball lifestyle for like 4 years now, so I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna do this stuff. Then like there are some local people that have done some things that I wanted to do stuff with them because they were like part of the town. But other than that, I mean, I basically just like, this sounds cool, that sounds cool, this podcast sounds fun. Oh, he's a professional, he used to play professionally, like I'll go on with him. So all of that was super dope. Why
for you is it important to use social media to build your brand?
Ooh, that's actually a really good question. Like that's really good. For me, social media is like, it's always been fascinating to me. So I just kind of got into it without thinking about building a brand at first. I was like always just kind of a networking freak, I guess. Like I love talking to people, I love meeting new people, I love hearing about people's stories and how they got to where they were. And like I read a lot of stuff about that and like psychological slash like mental, or like millionaire wealth books. So Ed Millett, Dave Goggins, like all this, that's like a lot of stuff that I read. So I got into networking just by doing that kind of thing. But now as I've like really blown up, it's special to me. And it's like cool to me because I feel like I'm officially like a role model for kids out there. I feel like there are people out there that feel like they can reach out to me and I'll be right back. Like, how can I help you? I've always wanted to do something where like it's a safe space for kids to just come in and relate. And I think that's why I'm so like easy to follow or easy to relate to, is I have everything on my social medias. I mean, girlfriend, family, baseball, football, like out of sport activities, just like lake, like all these kinds of things. It's really easy to relate to. It's really transparent. So I feel like kids just feel comfortable and like they can relate and like, this is cool. Like I want to do some of this stuff when I'm older. And then on top of that, you look at like who I am as a baseball player alone, and it's like, okay, he can offer a lot of good insight, and I do. Like I am a guy who always take time to respond to kids. I'll always answer DMs, things like that. So I think it's important solely off of the fact that not only can you monetize, you can go help and be a good person.
How has having a good group of friends, teammates, family around you, like, A, helped you become who you are today, and also, like, as this process has been continuing, like, how's that support been?
Oh, okay. So for me, family has always been my biggest thing. I'm a crazy loyal person, no matter what like the situation is. That's just kind of like how I was raised, born into. So for me, family is always going to be the biggest thing around me. And then obviously having a great group of friends that have kind of known what I've become. They kind of were along for like the beginning of the journey since, you know, 6th grade. Like I can't ask for much more than that. And then also like my girlfriend, who has the kind of the same thing going on with her life. She shares the same goals and aspirations and dreams just in her sport and in her profession. So like it's all kind of, it's easier for me because I can relate to each and every one of those people and they can all relate to me. So but for me, my role model, my brother, the way I grew up, like he was the kid taking me to the cages. He was the, you know, like throwing in the backyard. We have so many stories about how just like I would be he'd be hitting me like in and out fly balls, and I'd just like come up firing and break a window or something at our house. And it's like, then we'd both get in trouble because he should have caught it, but I threw it 100 feet over. But just little things like that, like to me, my family's my everything. They've made so many sacrifices throughout the years, whether that's, you know, giving up hours a week of jobs, whether that's like sacrificing something that they wanting to do, like a vacation that they wanted to take because we had to go to Florida for 3.5 weeks. Just so many things that they gave up for me to be able to chase my dream, that's like who I want to get back to. Everything that I do is for them, just because everything that they did was for me. So they're definitely like my biggest go-tos. And then obviously small town friend group that I've been friends with for years. So they kind of get what's going on now. They've just been there the whole time. They have always been like supportive. Even they come out to games when it's 20 degrees, like, and same thing with my girlfriend. She freezes her behind off in Indiana weather, and then also bakes at LA, the Dodger Stadium when it's 105 because she's always supportive. So I can't thank all of them enough, but they are definitely like just the biggest piece of all of this.
So obviously this is your senior year. How does it feel to like kind of, I mean, I'm sure you've been in some form of leadership role in the past, but now like kind of being like that guy, obviously your status in baseball is like your kids, but then also, you know, kind of having those young kids on your team and stuff, you're working out with them, like how does that factor into everything?
Yeah, and like you've seen this weekend, I mean, I've kind of been the one that's had to establish the workouts, get guys to get some extra work in and bring these guys in and make them feel a part of the team. Like we only have 4 returning varsity players this year, 5 returning varsity players this year. So a lot of kids are having to step up this year, and they're all pretty uncomfortable. Like they've never been in a position like this. So it's my job that like I've been around the team for 3 years now since I didn't have freshman year. So this is my 3rd year, kind of going at it, starting varsity. So like I am in that leadership role this year, and I love it. Like I love being a leader. I try to be a really good leader and not kind of just like a dude who says he's a leader, but it's only because of who he is. I actually like to lead my team and like help and figure out ways to make the team better. So like you've seen the last 2 days, we've been in here at 11 to 1 a.m. just getting work in because it's extra work that we needed. And the nice thing about this year is like we have a lot of guys that want to work hard. We have a lot of guys that want to learn and play hard and be great and like have a great season. So that makes being a leader a lot easier because everybody's bought into the goal. So you know, it's been like last year I had like support, I guess, like there was like a group of leaders. This year, you know, it's like 2 or 3 guys that are returning. So definitely like there's more of a role this year, but it's still like the same thing. Like, hey, let's get our work done. Let's go to business and let's go to work like this entire season.
What was your official visit? And kind of give me a little walkthrough of that.
So my official visit was like unreal. It was so fun. It was like my first experience of actually getting like a taste of like a real practice, a real game, like and feeling like you're a part of it. Because like we were right up on the field, you know, getting to meet all the players. Like it was my first time meeting some of the guys. Like I played against and with a lot of the guys on that class's Vanderbilt squad, just because a lot of them were there when I went to Jupiter my freshman year. So like I got to rekindle with like a lot of guys, and then obviously I got to meet all the new guys like Jack Bolger and a couple guys that I hadn't met before, and then obviously like linking up with Enrique was cool, and McKenzie's TJ McKenzie, so that was sick. Tristan's younger brother, so that was dope. And then like everything that we did like outside of just baseball was really cool. Like they took us to a saloon down there that's like line dancing and like really good barbecue. Like that was awesome. And that was like with all the coaching staff, all the players, all the families. Like that, it was so cool. There was like 120 of us down there, and that was a blast. And then we went to a Predators game, and it was the first time I've been to a professional hockey game, so that was sick. And like the Preds won, so that was super hype. And then what else did we do? Oh, media day was like so cool. I've never really had like an official media day, so like that was dope. And I don't know, the whole trip was a lot of fun. So I'm excited about it, and like it's nice to know that that's a path. So yeah, it was really, really fun.
What did it feel like playing for Team USA and playing for yourself, like playing for the country? How did it feel?
I think playing for Team USA was easily the best experience I've had from a baseball, from a representation standpoint. Like for me, I had so many things personally that made it really cool, because I got cut 15U year. I couldn't go 17U year because I had COVID. I finally make the team 18U year, have a clutch moment in the Canada game. Like there were so many things in that week and a half of playing for a gold medal for your entire country that kind of just like checked off every list on my bucket list, or every box on my bucket list. Like that was easily the most exciting, thrilling, fun, exhausting, like brutal tournament I've ever played. And it was easily like the most memories I've ever made in my life. There's nothing better than standing on a podium higher than everybody else with a medal around your neck, American flag draped around your back, with your national anthem playing above everyone else's. Like there's nothing better than that ever. And like you even see like the MLB guys speaking on it now, like they would much rather win a WBC than a World Series. And I'm the same way. Like that was the coolest moment I've ever had in my life.
You're gonna play for the WBC team?
I hope. Like, dude, 2027 is when it comes back, so that's like prime time for me, hopefully. So I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
What does a good work ethic look like to you?
I feel like some of the biggest separators from my work ethic to others are I am going to be the most consistent worker out of anyone. No matter the time, the place, what's going on, the weather, I'm gonna get my workout in that day if it's scheduled for that day. Some of the main misconceptions of this is if I'm in the gym for 2 hours a day, 2 times a week, it's the same as every single day for 30 minutes. Consistency is your best friend when it comes to these things, and getting in the gym every single day, getting in the cages every single day, doing something every single day is the most important of it all. Whether that's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour a day, like it doesn't really matter, depending on how hard you work and how consistent you are with it. Obviously, you work out a little bit longer, you're probably gonna be a little bit better. But the biggest thing and the best thing to start with is consistency. How many days in a row can you get in the gym? How many days in a row can you get in the cages? And then that also transitions over to like diet. I mean, people think that it's just lifting. Like one of the biggest parts of gaining weight, gaining size is eating. And it is the most important when taking care of your body. You gotta eat the right foods, you gotta eat the right amount of foods. Like all of these things play such a big part, and it's such a big train of things that you have to mash together that it's not just one magic pill to separate yourself. There are so many different things that kind of go into it and so many different ways to look at it that you genuinely have to just be consistent and understand and learn each and every day. And you can only do that by doing it every single day.
Can you explain the difference between motivation and discipline?
For me, motivation is something that you're gonna wake up without some days, and you have to find your motivation because you're a disciplined human being. For me, I am disciplined and motivated, but on the days that I am not motivated, I find something that tells me like, hey, you can't miss today. And that is discipline. You've been through so many different days, you've gone so many days in a row that your body's used to it. You have to go today. Like your body needs you to go work out because it's used to it. That is discipline. And then the motivation is something that you just kind of got to dig deep and find on the days you don't want it, because some days you're not going to want to go. But for me, it's the days that you don't want to go are the days that you absolutely have to go, because those are the separators. 99% of people are going to be like, oh, I don't want to go today, I'm taking it off. I just don't really feel like it. But to separate yourself. You got to wake up on those days when you don't want to do anything, you want to sit at home. You have to be disciplined enough to get up, wake up, and go.
When did you start lifting, and what's that journey been like since you started?
I feel like I really started getting after it in the weight room after my freshman summer, before my freshman summer, so after 8th grade. So for me, that was right after I went to 15U Team USA, and I ended up being cut from the team because I was too small. Had a great tournament and I played really well, but I was actually cut from the team because I was too small. So for me, that kind of lit basically an insecurity / okay, I need to match what I look like with my play. So I was like a really good player, but I just didn't look the part really. So that lit a flame under my behind. And I really needed to figure out, okay, what am I gonna do to look the part? So I came home, developed a training routine, got a trainer, got on a meal plan, things like that. And I started really going after it. And after 6 to 8 months of consistently getting after it and learning how to do and understand your body, everything that's going on with these changes, I started to fall in love with it. So for me, I don't really see going to the gym as a training day or oh, I have to do this to make something like that. I love the gym, and it's because it's an escape for me. So I just kind of go every single day because it's a good stress reliever, but I'm also obviously getting better at the same time. So I found it as a hobby, which has made this whole thing and whole journey a lot easier. But the best piece of advice for lifting that I have on that aspect is finding a process that you understand and love, that you can translate and make fun each and every day, that you fall in love with as a hobby rather than a job.
Is there any, from the gym, are there any particular milestones from lifting, weight, whatever, that you were stoked about when you started?
So when I hit the 1,000-pound club with my big 3, which was clean, bench, and dead, that was clean, bench, and squat, and that was pretty sick. I've been kind of going after that for a while now, so finally clearing that milestone was sick. I was super excited about that. So that's definitely my coolest milestone. And then the 315 clean, finally getting over that hump, was my most thrilling moment, because I had been plateaued at 305 for almost a year now. 305 had gotten really easy, but I just couldn't get 315 yet. Then I finally got it, and it was the most just relieving, exciting, thrilling moment of my lifting career thus far.
Is there any particular on-field milestone that you were talking about? Velo, home run distance, anything like that?
The coolest on-field for me was getting to 95 on the mound. Just because that's such I feel a lot of kids throw 90 now. I feel a lot of pros throw 90. Obviously almost every pro throws 90 now. So eclipsing that 95 was really cool for me. Just because I don't know. I just feel you have to train and really hard and work your body in a certain way and be mobile enough. Just so many factors go into throwing 95 that it was pretty cool to hit that. Everything else I haven't really I'm not really satisfied with anything else really yet. So we'll keep the rest of that question under the table for now. But definitely we'll stick with 95. That was definitely the coolest thing.
That's not a bad answer.
Oh yeah. No.
Do you remember where you were?
Yeah, I was, so it was actually my first start of the season. It was against Roncalli, scrimmage, and I was 96, 98. So I didn't actually really even hit 95, I just jumped to 98. But yeah, it was 39 degrees, a little bit of a crosswind. We were wearing cream jerseys, black hat, fuzz right down the middle. Yeah, it was.
I feel cold.
It was cash. Yeah, it was so freezing. It was so cold.
So what you're saying is you're triple digits in June.
Oh yeah, I think if I fully prepped this season, I would hit 100.
I'm sure you have on Pro Hop.
Oh yeah, 103.8.
When did you get into sneakers / fashion, and how would you describe your style?
So I got into sneakers a year and a half ago. One of my buddies who's a reseller, actually this is our first time meeting, so we're really good friends now, but I met him about a year and a half ago. He turned out to be a baseball player too. So he introduced me into shoes, and I kind of got into them, and then all my money just started going to shoes. So yeah, I am obsessed. That's the one thing that, and like you said, fashion is kind of the one thing that I've started splurging on, like that's where all my money goes, to be honest. So I don't know, I just find it like there's so many different avenues and branches that you can go with fashion and shoes, and there's so many different like colorways and just cool stuff that like you just can't run out of like cool things with shoes and fashion. I would say like my style is like very streetwear. Like I wear a lot of like Anti-Social Club, Gallery Department, V-Lone, like very just like pretty, you know, generic streetwear, higher end fashion. And then like Lulu, like that's my other side. Like I wear streetwear and Lulu, no in between. I think my favorite pair of shoes I have right now are probably my Off-White Vapor Maxes. Just because like I've wanted those for a long time. So like finally getting a hold of them was pretty cool, just because I mean, they're a high dollar shoe, like they're high end. I like the black pair too, so that's actually gonna be my next purchase. But if the one shoe that I want that I don't have yet are the University Red Off-White Dunk Lows. And that's what we were looking at the other day. And they just like, they marked them up and they were so like used. Like that's what I would pay probably for like a new pair. And they were just kind of black everywhere on like the white parts of the shoe. So I was like, no way.
What has football taught you that you brought over into baseball?
I think the biggest thing that football taught me was not only how to work as a team, but also how to be tough as a team. I mean, those summer practices are brutal. Like, I mean brutal in Indiana. Like full pads, 100 degrees, it's miserable. So you really learn how to like be mentally tough. And that was something that just helped in baseball. Like a game that's so just based on mentality is, you know, it's nice to have a really strong starting point. And then, you know, hours and hours and hours and hours of just mental, just toughness practice, basically. Like every football practice is just mental toughness is what it feels like. So I think the biggest takeaway is 100% mental toughness. But it's just like, there are so many other things, like small things here and there that kind of just translate into baseball. Like the way you cut for, like I played receiver, so it was like tracking a fly ball. Like I basically was getting routes in for football while doing baseball and vice versa. Like that was really helpful to me because it helped me stay lean on my ankles, my knees, my hips, like all of that stuff. It was awesome. But like little things like that, just all throughout it, were really cool. And then like obviously you can never go wrong playing football FNL with your boys. So I'm very glad I played, just because there were so many takeaways for life too. So it's always going to be like really cool to come back and like hang out with all my people and my guys and just like talk about football. Like I'm really happy I played.
What do you think is missing from baseball culture, and what do you hope to change?
Oh, I think the biggest change that needs to come to baseball is people need to realize that it's still a game. I feel like there's a very too heavily professional approach to it. And obviously it's a job and everyone takes it very seriously. But at the end of the day, it's still a game. And sure, they're getting paid to play a game. They're getting paid to play a children's game. Like, no, that's completely different. And there are so many different factors that go into what it means to these guys to be on the field. The amount of hours they've put in, the amount of sacrifices they've given up, the amount of things that they've gone through, the minor league that they've gone through, the gauntlet, like so many different things that they've gone to. And it's 4-2, bottom of the ninth, 2 runners on, walk-off bomb. You don't think that dude who's devoted his life for a moment like that is not gonna celebrate? That's like, it's, speaking from experience, there are some times when you just can't hold your emotions in when you finally get what you've been working for years. The floodgates of emotions just come and you're excited, you're blessed, you're thrilling, like all of these things. So I just think that like people need to like take a little bit of a step back and realize like, you know, this is pretty good. This is a game. Like people are enjoying this. They're making this fun. They're having fun. Because yes, they're out there doing a job and literally their job is to play a game. But like again, it's a game. So for me, like living a baseball lifestyle is kind of just the way I was born into it, because brother played baseball, so I was born and like I started becoming competent when like he was 13, 15, 17, 18 U. So like I was in the prime heart of that. So obviously like I grew up in a baseball community. And then like on top of that, I was always around baseball people like Jeff Mercer at IU, Jeff Sr., his dad, who coached at Franklin. Like that's just the environment I was always born into. So it's the only thing I've ever known, you know what I mean? And then I fell in love with it through this place, Powerhouse, when I was 6, first facility. And I've been training here for 12 years now. So like, it's it's so different. People don't really understand, like, it's really just a lifestyle. Like, you can't just, you know, devote a little bit of time to this. Like, to really be something different, you have to make it a lifestyle. And, you know, you have to make a lot of sacrifices in your outside life to really make some things happen.
Your name?
Yeah. My name is Max Clark, and I forget what I was supposed to say after that. Oh, where I'm from. Yep, sorry.
What was that?
Because if not, it's called a sheriff's department, or like the local.
So just to be clear, what happened?
I left my keys in my car, and my car locked itself. There's no way. Like, what?